Yo, what is up guys? And today we're going to be talking all about the custom group summon and also what banners you guys should be pulling for on this event and also how the coin system will actually work. So this event guys, basically you'll be able to choose from 3 banners and artifacts. It is going to be that unit with their specific artifacts. So if I choose DN, I'll also be pulling for DN's artifact as well in the banner. And you can choose up to 3. Now you can pretty much choose every single RGB 5-star unit in the game except for collab units and also not the recent releases, right? So for instance, like limited Charlotte guys will not be available because she hasn't rerun yet. And also you can see if you scroll all the way down here, it's going to stop at the latest unit being Arunka. So you won't really see like Bihu or other new units because there is a limit to, how new the units can actually be. So we're going to talk about, every single banner as well as the artifact and if they're worth pulling for and which ones you should be focusing on. And you're also going to see that every summon you do, you're going to actually get a coin system here. So I actually just did my selection here so I can show you how the coin system works because I can't really open the coin store without having coins, which is kind of funny. Basically, this way this works actually is the coin store. You'll get 1 coin for every summon you do, regardless if you actually pull the unit or not. And you're going to see you can actually just buy the unit as many times as you want. You also can buy the artifact once with these coins as well. Now, keep in mind, when you start this event, you have only 2 weeks to actually pull for those units. So you really want to make sure that you actually start this event, closer to the end of the event because if you do it at the end of the event, you'll have more time to actually save up bookmarks. So you might not want to do this right away, especially if you actually want to pull for a lot of dupes, and if you're hurting on Skystones and bookmarks right now. And people were also asking about this as well. The artifacts will be available in the Powder of Knowledge shop. I have Cerise, Vildred, and Luna's banner running, and you're going to see that I can actually buy these with Powder of Knowledge as well. I'm going to just buy this Guiding Light because it's very, very good artifact, right? But yeah. Keep in mind, you can always buy these with Powder of Knowledge once as well during the banner length. So make sure that you actually do this if you want some artifacts as well. So here we go, guys. This is the tier list and how I rank these units. Keep in mind, we'll be also talking and thinking about the artifact that this unit comes with as well. You can see I separated these units into basically 3 tiers. The only ones you really want to actually pull for or focus on are going to be the S and A tier units. Keep in mind, with limited units, you might want to put a little bit more emphasis on them if you're missing them. But for the most part, we're going to be ranking these units based on strength and not really because of, how limited and exclusive they can be. So first things first, we're going to talk about the S tier. These units are very good. You want to make sure you definitely have all of these right now. First one I recommend, guys, is going to be Tamarin. So Tamarin, of course, very, very powerful unit, guys. Super good in PvE. You can take her into so many teams. There is no reason to not have her at this point. If you don't have her yet, you definitely want to make sure she is one of the units you get. And probably the first one you buy with your coins because she is insanely, insanely strong for PvE content and will carry you everywhere, especially even into the late game actually. But if you're new to the game, she's crazy, crazy good. Next we have Landy, guys. This is a limited unit. Now, the unit itself, very powerful, right? She's very good in PvE, very good in PvP. Definitely want to pick her up. She's one of the best damage dealers in the game. She will be super, super good on your account for pretty much the entire duration of while you're playing Epic 7. Next, we have another limited unit. This is going to be Seaside Bologna. So Seaside Bologna, very powerful unit. She's mostly going to be used in PvE right now. You can still use her in PvP as a counter pick, but for the most part, she's a PvE monster. Also, keep in mind that if you want to use her very effectively, you're going to want to actually have her artifact maxed out, which will make it so that you kind of want to prioritize her on these banners and make sure you always try to pull for her because, that artifact is so good, and you definitely want that maxed out for no RNG. Next, we have Cerise, guys, S tier unit because, not unit, but mostly because of the artifact Guiding Light. I think Cerise is not that great anymore. You only really use her in Dark Expo, which is very, very good. The only reason she's in the S tier is because of her artifact Guiding Light. One of the best, if not the best, ranger artifact in the game. Completely broken. You can abuse the stealth on so many rangers that are very fast. Even like Landy is very good on Guiding Light. So you definitely want to make sure you pull that and try to get the Guiding Light as well. Also very good on like Lua as a ranger as well. So, Cerise's artifact is very good on 2 of the S tier units. You definitely want to make sure you actually, have at least 1 copy on your account. You definitely want to try to go for more as well. Next, we have Lua, guys, no brainer. She's one of the best PvP units in the game. The only reason she's not at the top of the S tier is because she's only really used in PvP, but in PvP, probably one of the best, if not the best units currently. Next, we have Destina. I have Destina here because she's a very good PvP unit because of the fact that she doesn't really need like crazy gear to work. And also because she counters a lot of the aggression in the meta right now. And Revive is very, very clutch as well. Just a very good unit overall, I think. For PvP, if you're looking for a good starter soul lever, Destina is always a safe bet and the easiest to build as well. And now we're moving into the A tier, guys. These units are still very good, but not as good as the S tier. Starting off with Asaria, very good in PvE, pairs very well with Tamarin because she can reset her S3, extremely powerful unit. Rwana here, very good because of her S2 to counter extra attackers, dual attackers, just anything, especially in PvP. In PvE, she's also very good because of the fact that there's so many bosses that can trigger her S2. And her S3 is very good as well because it has a fat heal, a barrier, and a revive buff on it, so pretty much will top off your team. Lilius, guys, especially after her recent buffs, very good against like Lua to answer her, so she's a very, very good unit. She's also deals pretty decent damage now, and she's very good in PvE as well. So definitely a strong unit to actually choose, especially if you're having trouble in PvP against Luas. Next, we have Celine, guys, also an answer to Lua and also an answer to anything that uses non-attack skills. She's very, very underrated, but she's very, very strong. In PvP, you can pick her into certain team comps, and it's pretty much a free win. It makes the enemy have to ban her as well. Next, we have Shu and Valencia. I'm just going to loop these together. I think Shu's a little bit better for defense teams, but both are very good bruisers. If you guys are looking for strong bruisers because you have a lot of good bruiser gear, or you want to play like a turn 2 playstyle, Shu is probably the best bet, and Valencia is a pretty close second as well from these banners. Next, we have Diane, guys. I don't think she's as strong as before, like a year or two ago, but she's still very good. I think she's a very serviceable Soul Weaver in PvP. If you're looking for a good CR pusher that can attack buff as well, she's very good in PvP. In PvE, she's also very good, but there's no reason to ever use Diane over Tamarin. And if you guys are pulling for Diane on this banner, you probably already have Tamarin anyway, so there's no real reason to actually use her in PvE content. Next, we have Violet, guys, also a very good bruiser. He's very good on defense teams because of his RNG. Keep in mind, there's a lot more counters now than there were like in the past when he was super strong. So he does have a lot of answers now, but he's still a very good unit nonetheless, especially for PvP if you like to play like a bruiser RNG heavy playstyle. PvE, guys, he is very good in like Ancient Inheritance and also in what's it called? Drawing a blank here, Automaton Tower as well, and Katie's. So he's very, very good. So you definitely want to make sure that you pull for him if you are struggling in those areas of content. Yulha, guys, also the same with Crow. Very good in Guild Wars. Yulha is a little bit better in RTA right now. Very good units if you're looking to cheese some wins out, especially if you like to run Soul Weavers and do slow wins, because Yulha's S3, Crow's S3, big damage. Sermia, guys, so pretty good in Katie's, also good in like one-shot hunts, also good in Guild Wars offense, but for the most part, not super, super strong. I honestly think her artifact is a lot better because it's border coin, right? Every warrior that uses speed very well, such as Conquer Lilius, will want that artifact, especially if they have non-attack skills. Even like ML Kawaz is very good with it, and there's like a bunch more units that can actually use it pretty well. Next, we have Luna, guys. So Luna is a very good damage dealer. She actually does pretty decent damage. She's like Commander Lorena, except in my opinion, maybe a little bit worse, except for like Fire Expedition. But her artifact is the main kicker. So Draco Plate, extremely powerful warrior artifact. Just nowadays, you kind of see more value in Sigurd's Scythe and other warrior artifacts, so not as good as before. But her artifact is still very good. Vivian, guys, you're going to want to pick her up for basically one-shot hunts only. She's extremely good. She's one of the best wave clearers and attack buffers for one-shot hunts, especially for like Azmnak and also for Banshee. So if you're struggling in those areas of content, you can pick her up. She's also usable in PvP as a cleaver. Next, we have Zahak, guys. One of the best, one-shotter units for Guild Wars offense in the game, especially for like APOC Ravis and stuff like that. Also, just a very solid damage dealer overall. If you're looking for a good injury damage dealer that can deal with APOC Ravi, he's very, very good. He just does a lot of damage, and if you have him on good stats, he's very, very strong. Next, we have Politis, guys. Very good disruptor. She's also very good at cleaving, but she can also counter cleave. Very good unit. She's not as good as before because cleave isn't as good as before, so her popularity has definitely dropped. But if you're struggling against cleave, she's very, very good. Next, we have Senya, guys. So Senya is a very good unit, especially if you pair her with Shu and also Lua, so actually the two units above her, and also even like Conquer Lilius. Very, very good in defense teams and also good in Guild Wars overall. Just keep in mind she gets countered very heavily by cleanses and anything that can actually CC her and lock her down. So those are the 18 units. These are also very good units, but you definitely want to prioritize the S tier over them. Now for the B tier units, guys, we'll go very, very quickly. These units you're not going to really want to actually spend your banner on, but they're still very good options as well. So the first like 7 options here, they're all going to be very good for cleave units. So you have Ran, you have Peyra, Laika, Summertime Assyria, Ada, Vildred, and Flan. These are all good cleave units, all good in different scenarios, but they all pretty much fit the same build. They want to cleave. If you guys are into cleaving, you're going to want to, pick out these units depending on the team comps you have. I don't really personally cleave that much, but I would definitely prioritize like Ran, Peyra, and probably Summertime Assyria because she's limited over the other 3. And the 4 following, they're all very good, but I think the first 3 are very, very good and work very well together. Now for Ravi, guys, pretty good, mostly because of her artifact, right? Sigurd's Scythe, very good on warriors. Also as a unit, she's pretty decent if you have her on decent gear. She's also good as a starter unit for PvE, but there's just better options, so she's fallen to the B tier. Next up, we have Arya, guys. So Arya is a pretty decent unit as well. The only thing is she is pretty hard to use. You need pretty crazy gear on her. And she's only really used in PvP in certain scenarios, so she's in the B tier, but still very good if you build her. Next, we have Kisei. So Kisei is an opening unit. Also needs really crazy gear, but there's just better openers, so I wouldn't really pick her. But she is still okay. A lot better than the C tier unit, so B tier. Luluka, guys, I think Luluka is a very good overall jack of all trades for PvE, right? She has sustain for her team. She has good single target. She has decent AoE. She has defense break. She has a dispel if you have her on Isle of Violin, which makes her a very good choice for PvE if you are newer to the game. Euphine, good cleaver with Zio, but it kind of doesn't really work that well anymore. But she's also good for like one-shot hunts as well. Charlotte, decent AoE damage dealer unit for PvP, but there's just better options. Bellona, decent single target damage dealer and defense breaker for PvE, can also defense break for cleaving, but there's just better options as well. And then Fairy Tail Tenebria, she just needs really crazy gear to work. I think she could honestly be higher, but I wouldn't prioritize her right now because she's very one-dimensional. You have to take the first turn with her to win, and also because of the fact that, you know, she does have lower base speed than other openers, so it is pretty hard to take the first turn, which means you need pretty crazy gear, and you also need her on high effectiveness as well. So those are the B tier units. These units you kind of want to stay away from. The only ones I really think are worth it are the cleaving units. Honestly, if you are a cleaving player, these might be like your top priority. Like these 7 units might be in the S tier for you if you are a cleaver, but for the general population, I think they're in the B tier. C tier units, guys, I'm not going to talk about them because they're just not worth pulling for on this banner. Some of them might be good in certain situations, but definitely want to save and actually pull for the other units instead because they're very niche, or they need buffs, or they're not that great as well, and, you know, just needs better options, right? So like Bomb Modelaika, she's free to play, she's very good, but you can get her from connections, and Sigurd you can also get for free as well. I guess Vivian you can also get for free as well in Sirmia, but, you know, Sirmia for the artifact mostly, and then Vivian, I guess I should drop her now that I think about it because she's free to play, so you might want to not pull for her, right? Because it makes no sense. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and as always, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.